Big Dave, how's it going, mate?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Very well, very well. I love it when we press record, you take on a new demeanour. You're like a true pro these days.
Professional, aren't I? What can I say?
Just getting into character. You're like a method actor now. Now you've done that commercial for that clothing company. You're sort of like a
Personal menswear, yes, personal menswear.
You're sort of like a blown up Tom Cruise now. You're like Tom Cruise, but bigger and better.
More Rav Wilding off Crime Watch, I would say, personally.
You do look like Rav Wilding, actually.
Have a TikTok like next, like me.
I had a TikTok account, but
I have got a life.
It was I was doing really childish things on there, so I had to stop.
No, he was talking about one of those lights, one of those special lights that light up your face and all that kind of stuff. He's just surprised you haven't got your home set up there yet.
Well, I don't have anything. What an eye.
Dave just does it from any angle, doesn't he? Sometimes he's high, sometimes he's low.
I'm literally just sat here in the pants. That is as good as this is getting.
That's it. That's 1 million views right there. That's the money shot.
There we go.
Oh, brilliant.
I don't know where to go from there, Dave, but where I should go is to why we're here to speak about the fight. I know you've done a few interviews, we've set up a couple, and you're going to do a few podcast stuff. Obviously, everyone wants to talk to you about it because you're probably more well placed than anybody to give us an opinion. I want to start off by relating it back to you a little bit. When you look at those two guys out there in the press conference yesterday, you get the call from TalkSport. Dave, come and speak to us about this fight. Tell us your opinion. What was it like sparring Tyson? What was it like sparring Dylan? Blah, blah, blah. Do you think, you look at those two men, 4 years your senior, and you look at the sort of dedication and what you're sort of putting into it now, how far Tyson Fury's come in 4 years, and is there a part of you that's like, I don't want to fucking talk about this fight anymore. I just want to be back out there doing it myself. I should be part of this.
Not really, no. To be honest, not really. I look at Tyson Fury and Dylan Whyte. I'm just a boxing fan, aren't I? You know, light years away from there. Even when I was at my best, I think I was rated 15 in the world. That's as high as I got. So these men are headlining Wembley, 94,000 people. I just watched as a fan, mate. To be honest, it will be a great night as well. I am looking forward to it. The undercard, I'll probably watch Britain's Got Talent or something till 10 o'clock, and then put the big fight on. So the big fight is a super fight. It's two British heavyweights, at our national stadium for all the marbles. So it is a genuine super fight in my opinion. I am excited to watch it.
Yeah, I think everyone is. I mean, what have you made so far of like the sort of, we were speaking to Ebony Bridges yesterday, and she gave an interesting take on the kind of Dillian's media blackout and no-shows and stuff. And she said, well, I don't think it's about mind games because no one can play mind games with Tyson. I think it's more about getting spoke about and, getting people talking about him because he doesn't want to be the B-side to this fight. He thinks he deserves to be a 50-50. And by him not showing up, he's never been spoke about more.
Well, I think it's more like Dylan Whyte's based in Portugal, and I don't think he can be asked getting flights back and forth. And he's probably backing himself and thinks, if I wouldn't beat Tyson Fury, I'd become the Ring Magazine, WBC, and #1 heavyweight in the world. Overnight, he becomes one of the most famous men alive. So he's just backing himself. You don't need the media stuff. If he wins Saturday night, what does it matter if he did a press conference or not? He becomes the #1 man in boxing, maybe just behind Canelo. So I just see it that he's backing himself. He thinks he's going to win this fight, If he's going all the press conferences, flying back and forth from Portugal, I see that he has supreme confidence that he wins Saturday. He's not bothered about the media stuff. He's not bothered because he's going to become the #1 man from Saturday night. So, again, not mind games. Again, I just think it's a fact that he doesn't want to be flying from Portugal to England every couple of weeks. So, I'm with him 100% on that. I agree with what he's done.
What's your take on it, Brian?
Now, Dave's said it. I'm not just copying, but he's right. He's made me realise. He doesn't need the attention, does he? He's probably thinking in his head, I'm that confident when I win on Saturday night, and why do I need to go and get that sort of coverage? Because he's going to get it Saturday night, like Dave's saying. The fight, I don't think it's going to be as straightforward, but I think Tyson Fury's going to win it. But I just don't think it's going to be straightforward. I think there could be a couple of knockdowns before the inevitable, but that's just my opinion.
I was gonna come to you on that one, Dave. I don't know if you've seen the sort of first face to face, but my take from that was that Tyson Fury seemed very, very nicey, like he was almost a bit wary or a bit tiptoey around Dillian. He's usually in people's face. He's usually, talking them down, trying to make them feel silly, playing up to that kind of caricature of Tyson Fury that we kind of all love now in these press conferences. But it seemed very different. It just seemed very much like, yeah, Dillian's a good guy. I like him. Is that because he's taking it more serious, or is it because he's taking it less serious, do you think?
Well, these two have been friends for about 10 years. We went to Newcastle yesterday, mate. I want to watch the press conference. I said, mate, it's going to be boring. These are friends. Like, they are friends. They've got a lot of respect for each other. And they're 33 years old apiece. This fight sells anyway. They don't need fake animosity. They like each other. They respect each other. They're probably both a little bit wary of each other. So it's going to be nice. You got John on one side, ready to kick off if anyone breathes near him. And you've got about 60 people Dylan Whyte ready to do the same. So I think Tyson and Dylan have got a hell of a lot of respect for each other. The pressure on them two men fighting in front of 94,000 people, in front of millions at home, is unbelievable. Why add to that pressure? Later in my career, at the start, I used to try and get my first 5 or 6 fights at the weigh-in. I was a nuisance. And then later on in my career, I just thought, why am I adding pressure to myself? Just get weighed in, shake their hand, and just wish them the best. And then go home or back to the hotel and just put your feet up and relax. And these two are the same. The nervous energy it will be can be expended the way in the press conferences. And they're probably just thinking, you know what? Let me get in that ring Saturday night as near as 100% as possible and just try and get the business done. So I think there's a lot of respect there. I think they are friends, and I think they just want to get to Saturday night, really.
Yeah. I am the same. Like, it's absolutely no point in kicking off. You just piling pressure on yourself, because at the end of the day, if you get beat and you've kicked off at the weigh-in and said, I'm going to fucking knock you out and all that, and then you get beat, you make yourself look a right swat.
I think it's maybe a British mentality. We love an underdog. We want to get behind people. I mean, I think Dillian's earned his shot, more than anyone. Everyone wants to see him get it. I think Tyson Fury's the strong favourite. He's more skilled, and he should win in the later rounds. But there's something about the fight. Even though I like Tyson so much, I want to see Dillian put him down. I want to see Dillian catching one of those massive hooks or over the top shots and put him down there. But I wonder whether it's the underdog, the want of the underdog in me that's thinking it could happen. Is this a straightforward night for Tyson Fury?
I think it's a mismatch in terms of boxing ability, size. Having shared a room with both from boxing and sparring Dillian and sparring Tyson, there's only one winner. I don't see how Dillian has a chance at all. Puncher's chance maybe, but you have to land that shot. I don't think he has a chance, but sparring stories are interesting. And I remember sparring people and thinking, looking up on BoxRec and thinking, this fella's useless. I've sparred him and I thought, and I've had nightmares of him. And I thought, why is this? But fighter A beating fighter B doesn't mean that fighter A will beat fighter C and B may beat C, and that's an equation that a lot of people struggle to get their head around, because I don't think I said it properly myself. And I don't think Dylan Whyte's an awkward fighter. He's awkward. It was awkward for me because he had really long arms and a good jab. That's not a problem to Tyson, but it's very hard because his style. Like, look at Dylan Whyte and what would you say his style is? What would you say he is? He's a strong man. He's got a good jab, a good left hook. Called the body snatcher. I've never really seen him be a vicious body puncher or stop anyone to the body. He's pretty basic, but he's super tough and strong, and he's a decent puncher. But I wouldn't say he's awkward at all. But the way he moves, and the way he moves his head and the way he carries himself, maybe that's just something for Tyson that he finds awkward. I watched Lenroy Thomas, who was the most basic, average southpaw in the world. And for 13 rounds, I watched 13 rounds with him. I couldn't work him out for the life of me. And he was terrible. But he was just all wrong for me. He was very jerky, and his lead hand position was awkward for me. I just couldn't work him out, and he was terrible. Yeah. So Dylan Whyte may end up proving being all wrong for Tyson Fury and beating him. Even though Tyson Fury for me would beat everyone that Dylan Whyte has beat. So I don't know, it's a difficult one. I'm looking forward to it because a couple of years ago I said Tyson Fury would win this easily, but now with experience, I think Dylan Whyte could be all wrong for him. I think Tyson Fury will win. I think it is a bit of a mismatch. I think he will stop him, but that could prove to be the case that Dylan Whyte just is his bogeyman.
Who's the bigger puncher, Dave?
Tyson Fury for me.
Yeah.
I watched Dylan Whyte over 10 rounds and he never bothered me.
I think that's that same myth that keeps being said all the time here. You know, Dillian's a big puncher. He's a bigger puncher. He could catch Fury, but Fury's got 6 inches on him. He's got like a couple of stone. You know, he's well, a fair bit of weight. He's a big puncher, Tyson Fury. Proved that against Deontay Wilder, and that brings me to our next question. Does he go in there? Does he go in there on Saturday? Does he go in there and outbox him, use all his array of skills, or does he do what he did to Deontay Wilder in the second fight? Does he go in there and just say, "I'm bigger, I'm stronger, and I'm just going to steamroll you"?
I think Tyson, you know, we say about him carrying more power. You don't have to be the biggest puncher in the world to knock somebody out. If Dylan Whyte hits him, if Dylan Whyte hits Tyson Fury on the chin with a good shot, Tyson Fury will go over. He's been on the floor numerous times. Nikolai Firth had him on the floor. So did Steve Cunningham, a cruiserweight. So I'm not saying Dylan Whyte has a lack of power. And I'm definitely not saying he doesn't have the power to put Tyson Fury over. I think with Tyson, I think boxing on the back foot like he did in the Klitschko fight and the first Wilder fight is the way of going about beating Dylan Whyte. You know, like the second Chisora fight, he can make Dylan look. He'll make him look clumsy at times and slow. But in boxing like that, and if he's weighing in lighter, it gives Dylan Whyte more chance to land the big shot. You know, whereas if he comes like a wrecking ball, maybe he takes Dylan Whyte out early in a couple of rounds, but maybe he rushes onto something as well. So
I'm going to ask you both the same question here. Who do you think is going to win? How do you think it's going to go? And who would you like to win?
So I think Tyson Fury will start boxing like on the back foot. I think that's how he's going to go about the fight. And I think he'll be caught. I think he'll caught. He might get put over. And then late on, I think Tyson Fury stops him like round 8 or 9. I think he stops him late on.
I think Fury stops Whyte in 2 or 3 rounds.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's going to be far too sharp for him. Way too sharp. That's what it'll come down to, speed. I think Dylan Whyte will come out. I think he'll try to be aggressive. And I think Tyson will catch him with something. Tyson Fury with 10-ounce gloves. Now he's trained by Sugar Hill. He may be on the back foot. He may be on the back foot and being a little bit defensive. But you know, Sugar Hill don't train him to win on points over 12 rounds. Mm-hmm. He trains him to win by knockout. And I think Tyson will take him out early. I think he'll catch him early. And I think he'll take him out. I think he'll take him out with one shot early on. And I would like Tyson to win as well. Tyson's a friend of mine. I would like to see him win. I think he's great for boxing, and I think the Tyson against the Usyk Joshua rematch winner will be the biggest fight of my lifetime, in my opinion.
I want to see him and both. I want to see Saturday even more. I want to see that Usyk fight even more after hearing you sum it up there, mate. I'm somewhere in between the both of you without sitting on the fence. I think that Tyson will suss him out for a couple of rounds, have a look at him, and then he'll just prove himself. He'll go for it, and prove himself to be a bit too slow and not quite as classy and as slick as Tyson. I think he'll get stopped in the middle round 6-7. But yeah, I can only see it going one way. Dave, thanks for chatting to us, mate. It's good to see you happy and doing well, mate. Seeing you with all your fighters. You're on the road more times than the megabus at the moment, up and down the country.
Yeah, it's aging me a little bit, you know, traveling, doing a lot of traveling. But yeah, the amateurs are flying, mate. You know, we don't have many losers, which is good. But they do train full time, so we do have that advantage over most. But going really, really well. So yeah, I'm enjoying it, and my own career is winding down nicely. So yeah, all is well, thank you.
So nothing on the card for you next, mate? Nothing planned at the moment?
Not really, mate. Not really. No. It's difficult because you know I can box a Nathan Gorman or a Fabio Wardley.
Yeah.
I've had 5 rounds in 3 years, so you know these offers that come in, they're trying to pay me for my record at this point. And Brian, you know, he's at the same stage as me as his career now. You know, they offer you money and they're just paying for your name and your record. And but I can't beat a Nathan Gorman right now after having 5 rounds in 3 years. So
yeah,
you know, I'm.
You definitely not this stage I'm at because I'm like 7 or 8 years older than you. So you've definitely got the upper hand. But physically,
I'm,
you've been in with the best.
I'm older than you, Brian. I feel about 90 years old, mate.
But you are right. They're after your record. Could you be the best? They're looking at doing a better job than the next, and it's the same sort of thing I'm getting because I don't get stopped very often. The next person's always trying to knock me out and stop me early, so they can do a better job.
It'd be a close one on the fitness levels. Brian's had more pints of Peroni, but Dave's had more tea cakes in his time. So it's a 50-50, I reckon.
I'm 27 at the minute, but I'm still shifting 100 metres under 12 seconds, so I'm not doing too bad.
Mate, I see you playing table tennis though. You're like Forrest Gump.
I mean, I can do a bit of everything. I'm an all-round sportsman, aren't I?
Yeah, he's when the little one comes, mate, and you go to sports day, you'll be like the number one dad. You walk around with all the badges and all that.
By the time my kid's 5, I'll be about 47. I'll not be doing nothing. Big up Zoe Robinson while we're here as well. Big, great woman. Absolutely great woman. Well, you know what? She said, "Are you going to hit me this time?" I said, "Fucking am I? Have this."
Dave, great to chat to you, mate. You're in danger of becoming mature, pal. You're doing well.
Getting there, mate.
I will speak to you soon, mate. I'm looking forward to catching up after Saturday. Enjoy the fight.
All the best, mate.
Thank you very much. See you later, boys. Thank you.